So Tarzan's wife Jane is on her way to appearing in her very first comic book in her 100-year existence. This is the Kickstarter for her first ever comic book, and as you can see, it is well on its way to reaching its $4,000 goal, and it just went live today. So you've got 29 days to back this project, which I think is very safe to say will be fully funded. And I'm super excited about this. Huge Tarzan fan. Tarzan has been absent from the shelves for way too long in comic stores. And while this isn't going to comic book stores, it's great to see the Tarzan family back in the medium that it so rightly belongs in. Jane's first ever comic book in her 100-year existence. Well, actually more than 100 years. And to make it even bigger deal, it is going to be the first print comic book by Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. So, this is pretty historic stuff all the way around. Definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to give you a tour of the Kickstarter page real quick here. So this is the video at the top. Of course, Kickstarters have to have videos at top. It's just a thing. And so it begins with a teaser image, and then we go to this actress who plays Jane, and the video is just this far shot of her talking about the adventure that will be chronicled in the comic book. I'll let you watch it on your own. She does say some interesting stuff about, some of the, like, there'll be a woolly mammal and saber-toothed tiger and stuff like that in there. But it's just this far shot of her talking. It doesn't show any of the actual comic book itself. So you want to scroll down, and we get this really beautiful logo. I love the logo work that was done on this comic. And then we get our plot synopsis. So this is 1950, and Jane's become an archaeologist by this point. And so there's going to be a rival scientist who is actually trying to bring back extinct mammals, and that's of course going to be very bad. We're getting into that territory of mad scientists that Burroughs dealt with in Monster Men and Tarzan and the Lion Men. So that was actually really an interesting territory in the Burroughs novels. So it'll be interesting to see how they take it in the comic book. So the comic book will be 28 pages with cardstock cover. It says full 24 pages of story. So the 28 pages are probably counting the exterior and interior, front and back covers, and then the 24 pages will be the entire interior with the story. And I do appreciate that 24 pages. A modern comic is 20 pages, and that is not a lot of space to tell a story, so I really appreciate them going for that old school 24 page count to help flesh it out. It is conceived by Paul Carey, who is the Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated's director of publishing and a published author himself, and Mike Wolfer, who does the fantastic American mythology comics that I've done a ton of reviews on. American Mythology does a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs' lesser-known works like Monster Men and Land That Time Forgot and Pellucidar and Carson of Venus. And so this is Mike Wolfer's first crack at one of Burroughs' best-known characters. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with the script. And it is drawn by acclaimed artist Roy Allen Martinez, who is really good. He does work for the Edgar Rice Burroughs comics from American Mythology. His work on Monster Men is quite good, and he does a lot of covers. And this is his cover for Jane Porter, and as you can see, it is incredible. I love this cover. This is fantastic stuff. Now, down below the cover, we're going to get our only look at the interior art, which is quite nice. I mean, Roy Allen Martinez, is just a fantastic artist. But if you try reading this, it looks like a page. It's not. It's actually, if you read down there at the bottom, this is a montage. So this is just random images put together. I can absolutely 100% assure you Mike Wolfer and Roy Allen Martinez are great storytellers. If you need proof, go check out their work on Monster Men. You can actually just go on Comixology and check out the previews, but they do just wonderful, beautiful storytelling in the comic book form. Or you can actually go to Roy Allen Martinez's Facebook page. He puts up a lot of this stuff he's penciled and inked on there, and it's just great stuff. I can assure you this team is going to knock this out of the ballpark if their previous work is any indication. So as we go down, we're going to see the photo covers. Now, these, as far as the levels go, were available on the top level, which has already been taken. There was only one of those, but you can get them as add-ons, so you can just pay that money and get them added on to whatever level of support that you choose. And so we're going to go down here, and we're at the levels. And so some of this is pretty standard Kickstarter stuff. $5 will get you the PDF. $15 will get you the print comic and the PDF. $20 will get you, all that, plus a postcard, which looks quite nice. $25 will get you all that I'd previously mentioned, plus a invitation to a virtual tour of the museum that Jane works at. And this also can act as a bookmark as well. So that's your $25 level. And there's a look at the bookmark, which looks pretty nice. It's a nice little collectible. Oh, and the postcard too, I think. Okay, yeah, this is the bookmark. This is the postcard. Sorry, guys. All right, so keep going down. So we're at the $50 level. And so they're going to throw in a t-shirt on top of all this other stuff I've been mentioning. So this is a t-shirt for the museum that Jane works at, just in case you want to act like you've visited that museum, I guess. And so here's where the levels are going to get a little bit confusing. Or at least they did to me when I first looked at them. So on the $70 level, we're no longer going to have the t-shirt, but we're going to throw in instead some novels. And so these are going to be the 3 new novels that they're currently putting out. This is part of their big, I believe it's Swords of Eternity story arc that's crossing over between the different Burroughs properties. And so you'll be able to get 3 novels in paperback. Sorry, it's too used to comic books. It's paperback novels. And it'll be a Tarzan, John Carter, and Carson of Venus novel. Okay, that's $70 level. Okay. So when we go to $90, we've got the t-shirt back, and we got the paperback novels. So it's everything we've seen so far put together at the $90 level. Now we go to the $105 level, and we'll notice the t-shirt's missing. And I got super confused because I was like, why are you giving me less at the $105 level? So what it is the books are now hardcovers, and that's why it's the $105 level. So the books are now hardcovers. So, but don't worry, if you want that t-shirt, keep scrolling down. There is the $125 level where you can get the hardcovers and the t-shirt and everything I've just mentioned. So that's cool. And then there's the $700 level, and there was a ton of stuff in there, but there was only one of those, and it's already taken. So congratulations to who got that. It looks really cool. And then there's more add-ons other than those photo covers, right? So we have a $5 photo that you can have of, Jane, played by the actress. And then there are these wonderful, this image is wonderful. It's basically slapped on a lot of generic products that you can buy. I believe this is by Mike Wolfer, it said, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Mike Wolfer is also an incredible cover artist. I don't quite understand why this wasn't a variant cover or a lithograph, because I would really love to display this image. And I might still, get one of these things so I can do that, but I would just have loved something like a variant cover or a lithograph or a poster of it that I could have done that with a little easier than this stuff. But I mean, it's still a really cool shirt, right? I mean, that's kind of tempting too. So, so when we go down, so let's say you don't want the new novels. Let's say you want to read the old novels before you buy the new stuff. And that's understandable. And these are Edgar Rice Burroughs novels. These are starting from the beginning and reprinting all the novels. And they have these beautiful, beautiful Joe Jusko covers. And so you can get them as add-ons. These are the hardcovers, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the hardcovers. And then you can buy them in sets as well. And then at the very bottom, you can also add a subscription to Edgar Rice Burroughs' online comic strip service, which is amazing. I highly, highly recommend this. This is some of the best comic books you're ever going to read, especially if you're an Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. If you're a comic fan or an Edgar Rice Burroughs fan, their online comic strip service is a must. $22 for a year, which is amazing. So the shipping, let's see, all rewards and add-ons will be shipped from Tarzana, California, no later than November 2021. So that's really great. We only have to wait a few months to get, what we pledged for. And so this goes into kind of the history of Jane. And, obviously she is famous. I mean, when Marvel did like the Bullitt comic for Conan, I was like, not everyone knows who Bullitt is. They also did Valeria and those are famous characters if you're a Conan fan, but not necessarily if you're not one, right? But with Tarzan, everyone knows Tarzan and Jane. Jane is, if you know who Tarzan is, you almost always will know who Jane is. So I think this is a really good choice, right? Because everyone's going to know who this character is. And it goes into her history. Her father was a professor, so she's following in his footsteps in academia, and goes into, kind of her showing her ability to be adept at exploring lost civilizations. And then it talks about one of the novels where she, kind of showed her survival skills, which is very common among Burroughs heroines. They're not, don't expect, her to be jumping through the air, while somersaulting and shooting two guns or something. That's not, what American mythology has been doing with Burroughs' heroines. They, Mike Wolfer and Royale Martinez have been dealing with them, very much as they have been written. And I expect that to be true of this comic as well. They've been through a lot, and so they've developed skills to survive and to handle themselves in dangerous situations. And so Jane is not superhuman, but she can handle herself. And there's something cool about a hero who's just a normal human being, and seeing how they're going to get out of the dangerous situations that they get in. And so at the very bottom, it does say that the comic is already drawn, inked, and lettered, and will be shipped on time along with the rewards. So there's no risk here. There's not like some Kickstarters there is, right? Some Kickstarters you have projects that weren't completed and there's all kinds of complications. This one is just like, hey, we just want some money to help print it and cover the costs that we've already accrued. So good stuff. And by the way, they do say that they are interested in doing more adventures with Jane. This is not just a one-shot. They are definitely interested in doing more Jane comic books. And they mentioned maybe exploring her early youth before she met Tarzan, and maybe even in the present day, because she is immortal. She, did discover some longevity elixir that keeps her young. So that would be very, very intriguing. And so I hope that, the success of this, spurs them to do more Jane comics, to do Tarzan comics as well. Though I don't know where those would happen at. Presumably the Jane comics would be coming from Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. And I don't know if that changes anything as far as where the other properties are. Last time Tarzan was published, Dark Horse was publishing him, and the Dark Horse has actually solicited a crossover between Tarzan and Gru, so I expect the Dark Horse will probably continue publishing Tarzan, but who knows? Now, another thing though is that this is not going to be in comic shops. That is what this Kickstarter says. I think that could be ashamed if this never ends up going any place past this Kickstarter, but I doubt that'll be the case. What I would hope is that maybe they'll do Kickstarters for the next issues, or maybe they'll put it in comic shops. I hope it gets in comic shops because I would really like to see it in a broader audience. But even if they did Kickstarters for a future like miniseries or something and just, shipped it to the Kickstarter backers only, you can still collect it in trade. Once you get like 4 issues or more, you can put it in a trade paperback, and that you can put out and in comic shops, on Amazon.com, and we can all enjoy it, because I would hate to think that they're going to sit here and put out a comic book of this caliber, because like I said, the team they've got on this is really, really exceptional, but I would hate to think that they're going to put out a comic book this damn good and only a few people are able to read it. So I'm hoping, that we get big things with this comic book. Definitely looking forward to it. Haven't decided my own level of support yet, but I will definitely be pledging to this Kickstarter. It's something I don't normally do. I don't think I've ever given to a Kickstarter before, so this is exciting for me too. So anyway, I will link in the description below to this, but you can find it right now just by searching Jane Porter comic book Kickstarter, or going on Kickstarter and just looking for this comic book project, and you should be able to find it pretty easy. All right, like and subscribe for more videos, and until next time, see ya.